What is going on, guys? TalkNorwichCity here, back for another TNC podcast.
Yep.
We're back.
You sound a bit delirious this week, Jack. Is it the sun?
Mate, bank holiday weekend, it's just been carnage.
It has.
Utter carnage. Started off at the Den, which
Yep.
we're going to talk about in a minute. Yesterday was cricket and beer at the same time.
Poor soul.
I know.
You still got your cricket whites as well, which is nice.
And then today, I think I left my house about 9 hours ago, and I've only just got here. The traffic is ridiculous, but...
Do you know why? Pedestrianisation of Norwich City Centre.
Do you reckon?
Yeah,
just
100%.
backlogged up to Yarmouth.
100%.
I just think it's the booming Yarmouth tourism industry. Mate, I was out in... Well, I was out in Yarmouth last night. I was up there for a bit, and it was so busy.
Was it?
Like, so busy.
Was it?
So busy.
Good. Well, anyway, enough about Great Yarmouth.
Never enough about Great Yarmouth. But, go on. Millwall.
Yeah. I mean, where do we begin? I am literally only just over it.
I'm not over it.
In terms of me saying I'm over it, I mean, I've been able to stop thinking about it now because I've had to just put it in a box and just keep it to one side because it was just pure torture.
I feel like this is going to be more of a therapy session rather than a podcast.
Yeah, but we'll put it out there
so
right now.
So let's bring the box back out. Let's put it firmly in the middle of the table.
Box of olives.
And let's just get everything off our chest and then we can move on. Because we don't want that lurking.
So this podcast isn't necessarily a number. It's more like TNC podcast, the therapy session. Okay, so everyone watching, listening, we hope you can get through this with us.
Yeah, and join us on this emotional journey. Because I feel like we all need kind of a cleansing session. You know, when some people, they have like a really stressful time and they just go on holiday for like 2 weeks and go on like a juice cleansing session. I feel like, I mean, we've got
We've got olives with garlic in it.
What are they called?
We've got olives with garlic in, Jack.
Halakadiki.
Which, by the way, we both like olives. If anyone likes olives, it's an acquired taste.
Only green olives as well. Black olives are always a shout, but green
really?
as well.
No, all about green. And we've got Milka. Shout out to my Becky for bringing this back from Amsterdam.
That's a great present, to be fair.
Yeah, brilliant.
It's like I've never seen one with like a gold.
Yeah, I mean, you don't get this. You don't get this from Free Treats.
You don't. Free Treats are still a sponsor, so thank you so much, Free Treats. They supplied the olives. I'm going to get rid of this chewing gum, so keep talking.
Yeah, no problem. So, everyone, Jack, I can't believe you're spitting your chewing gum out halfway through a podcast.
Okay. Should have been done before, shouldn't it? Should have been done before. I'm back.
I think, as you say, let's just make sure we don't go too over the top. But I'm very, very aware and conscious of the fact that for everyone that witnessed what we witnessed against Millwall, it is going to be hard to listen to anyone that says patience and anyone that says, oh, it's all right, it's not far into the season. And
I mean, let's touch on this patience thing because you brought it up a lot on Saturday, and I suppose when we're going through such an upheaval, let's say upheaval, such a change in working methods, it's going to take time.
Yeah.
And we knew it was going to be a bumpy road.
Yeah.
Not quite this bumpy.
It's going to get bumpy, Jack.
Do you think?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, let's just put it straight out there. How long do you give Daniel Farke?
I'm not answering that question.
But so what are you saying?
What annoys me is the fact that people are already questioning Daniel Farke.
So yeah, but you just said I don't want to hear patience and stuff. So what are you looking for then?
It's more no. What I'm looking for is a lack of humiliation. A lack of capitulation, a lack of annihilation, a lack of. I'm all over
some great words in there as well.
Literally, we are getting pummeled to pieces at the moment, week in, week out. I know it's only been Villa and Millwall, but it's just the manner, and we rolled over and died against Millwall. And what frustrates me is the armchair fans that don't bother to go to away games, but sit there and say, "Oh, it's all right, patience, patience, patience," because the patience will run very, very thin if you're going to get spanked every week.
I mean, it has already.
I mean, after Aston Villa, when you concede 4 goals, Jack, that's like we've got a. I think it's like something crazy, like the first time we've conceded 4 goals in 2 games since 1999 or something. Yeah, in the Championship, which speaks volumes. Because normally what happens is in any football team, if you concede 4 goals, what's the first bloody thing you do in the next game? You make sure that your defence is A, shit hot on it, and B, you pick the best team. We didn't do either of those.
I mean, going before that as well, you look at Villa and you look at Millwall, obviously horrific. But you go before that, we conceded 3 against a Sunderland side that have won 1 game this season.
They've got Lewis Grabban and James Vaughan up front.
We conceded 2 goals against League 2 Swindon. And
Charlton, we should have conceded 2 goals.
I mean, that is... What is it with Norwich City defences? Because we thought getting in Daniel Farke, a man who had the best defensive record in Germany last year, it would have been at least a little bit better. It seems like we've just regressed.
I just think there's so many different component parts to this porridge that we've got to make at Norwich City.
Because porridge can either be really crap or delightful.
The thing is with a porridge, Jack, you know if you make a porridge, if you put too much of this in or too much of that in, right? Or, that's disgusting, I'll take that out. But there's so many different things going wrong with the Norwich City porridge at the moment. But God knows why we're bringing up porridge.
There's not many ingredients in porridge.
No. But you get my point.
Plenty of risotto.
Yeah, okay, risotto.
Yeah.
Basically,
once again, not many components in risotto.
I just think that normally what you could do is you can analyse this quite easily. You could say, okay, James Husband has had 2 really, really shit games, so we're just going to take him out. But it ain't as easy as that. And I'll happily admit that as much as I almost in a way want it to just be James Husband's fault, because I don't... No. I'm being serious, because it makes it so much more simple to resolve, Jack.
Yeah.
But it is the whole defence.
But I was thinking today when I had like...
Is it good, by the way, chocolate?
It's beautiful. It's quite thick as well.
Is it? A thick old piece.
It's very... It's quite hot though, so it's melting my fingers.
Is it? Oh no, might have to put it in the fridge for a bit.
But I was thinking today, I was sat out in the sun was shining, doves were crying.
It was really, really good.
And it was. I had a cold Peroni.
Good choice of beer.
And I was just thinking, I was like, Pinto, great player.
But cocked up.
No, but going forwards, Pinto, great player. Tim Close returning, Swiss international, great player.
Decent player. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Good championship player. Christoph Zimmermann or Marcel Franke, at times have looked good. Left back, not so sure. But that, on paper, is a decent championship defence. Now, are we getting too carried away, or is there genuine concern here?
No, I think we are. I think we are very. I don't know. We want it, and we want it now, as all football fans do. You see a similar situation at the moment happening. It'd be interesting if any West Ham or Arsenal fans are watching. But Arsenal and West Ham seem to be going through, not as obviously, arguably not as bad as us. Obviously, we've shipped more goals than any other English League side at the moment. But they're also going through a similar stage where they've invested money. They've got a new way of thinking. They've brought in a new kind of optimism, etc., etc., etc. But it's not worked for them, and it's not working for us at the moment. I do think it is going to take time for the team to gel, and I fully accept that I'm not expecting Norwich City to smash the league or even make huge strides or consistent runs of wins until Christmas time. I'm not. But what I fully expect, and every single supporter deserves to expect this, is your team goes out there, puts in 110%, chases every ball, every shadow, tackles every player, fouls, attacks, shoots from distance. This is what we all support. It's just, we did not. We were second best at everything against Millwall. And what concerns me is, I don't know about you, Jack, but every time I watch Norwich, every single time, there's always a moment where I think, oh, that was absolutely class. That's why I came to the game today. So, for example, against Aston Villa, Josh Murphy, there was a real moment, a couple of real good moments of, oh, wow, that was absolutely class. Just skidding Hutton for fun. But against Millwall, for the first time watching Norwich in, 16 seasons, there wasn't a single moment of class from any Norwich player at all.
I mean, I would agree with you in the sense that we were second to every ball. We were. I think that the whole lack of trying and stuff is an easy thing. Not saying that you said this, but I think I've seen a lot of people say, oh, was the effort there? Was it there? I think that's a very easy thing to say. I don't think any player would have walked out there or had the intention of not performing to their very best ability on Saturday. But I looked at that team and it looked so unorganised in terms of...
Mate, it wasn't evident. It wasn't evident that any player put in a shift.
And I think that was because I was looking in the first 10 minutes we were good, but after that we were shocking. But even at like 3-0 down, we'd been out there for 70 minutes. We've had a whole pre-season under Daniel Farker.
Yeah.
And we're what now? 5 league games in? A couple of League Cup matches as well. And I looked at them players, and they all seemed like they didn't know where they needed to be, what they needed to do. Houlihan, no one was clicking. And you know when you get them good teams, the Huddersfields of last season, the great teams in past, they almost know where people are going to be, and they don't even have to look.
Yeah. And that will happen. That will happen.
Yeah, and I think that maybe we're just getting too carried away, because I think some of us, including myself, has completely underestimated the sheer amount of change that's happened at this football club in terms of Stuart Webber and Daniel Farker, in terms of a whole new coaching team, all new sports scientists, physiotherapy. We've pretty much, except for Delia and Michael, ripped apart the whole football club. Yeah. And if you do that at a business level or anything, it's going to take time to gel.
Yeah.
But this is a results-based business. We're currently in the bottom 3 of the Championship, which I know is early doors, but we're still in the bottom 3 of the Championship. And if we... It's very much a confidence thing as well. If we don't click soon and we keep getting smashed 4-0, 4-2, 3-0, then confidence is going to take a hit, and we're suddenly in a position where we're fighting to just get mid-table. We're already 12 points behind the top of the table. There is huge work to be done here, and I'm more than willing to give this time. I am, and I think this will take... I don't think it's going to happen this season, or maybe not even next season.
But it's unacceptable to be embarrassed as a Norwich fan.
This is.
End of.
I mean, let's take a look at some individual performances. Let's start with Angus Gunn.
Yeah.
Shipped a lot of goals this season.
Yeah.
His fault or not?
I don't think so. I think any player... I think if any fan studies the highlights and looks back at all of the goals we've conceded, you will decide that every single goal that Angus has conceded was because a defender or a midfielder hasn't towed their line, hasn't kept in touch with the player that they're meant to be marking, hasn't jumped high enough. And there's not been a single moment where I've thought... I tell you what, the only time, and you highlighted it to me, and to be honest with you, mate, I think you were harsh with this comment as well. The third goal against Millwall, you said it was a P-roller. I thought it was very much in the corner. I definitely thought that there was 3 players around the whoever it was that scored. 3 players. So I think any Norwich fan...
I'll probably admit I was a bit harsh. If
any Norwich fan, and look, I know I'm buddies with Angus, but I promise you, I promise to everyone that's listening and watching, I will slate Angus if he's had a bad game or cocked up. But, as I say, if you watch the highlights back, it ain't his fault. And there's already been some absolute baboons wanting to switch Angus for Michael McGovern, which is just that's barbaric. It's more carnage.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the
Villa, we could have been 7-0 down at half time.
This is the crazy thing. We've already conceded
15
plus goals in all comps this season. We could have conceded 25 if it wasn't for Angus. Yeah. Like that performance at Villa, Sunderland, they pulled off some great saves. QPR, the game we won. Let's not forget they had 3 or 4 big chances.
Yeah. First 10 minutes, yeah.
And I think having Angus in that team, as well as the technical aspect he brings, it's crucial to have a player like him in there who has the local connections to the club, who is a local lad. Dad is a legend, because we've got a lot of players who don't really have links to this football club, and we're trying to build a force that fans can connect with. And I think that's something that Daniel Farker wants to do, and Stuart Webber, and that is not going to happen unless you've got a few of them players like Angus in there.
Look, we've so far we've left him for dead. We have. And as I said after Aston Villa, Jack, it's so strange for us to come out and say that Angus was our man of the match when we conceded 4 goals, but it could have been 15. Do you know what I mean?
Let's look at the defensive line. I think we've had a couple of days to sort of think about this now. Were we harsh on James Husband or not?
Honestly, mate, I don't know where to go with this, because I'm still angry at him.
Right.
Honestly, I am. he was absolutely shite against Millwall, absolutely shite against Aston Villa, fortunate against QPR, buffed off the ball a couple of times there. I want it to work out for him. I do. Just like Naismith, I want these players to perform, but you've given him now a lot of good chances. When you're coming up against a Millwall side, it's a physical battle. That's what it is. No offence to Millwall, you played us off the park, well played, brilliant, but they ain't got fuck all technical ability, Jack. Husband, the one thing he has to do is stand up to his man, stay strong, and don't let anything past him. And what did he do? Time in, time out. Honestly, mate, I must have bored you. I honestly felt like you were going to punch me in the face at one point against Millwall. Because the amount of times I said to you, left-hand side, left-hand side, left-hand side, every single time they came forwards. And you know what? I think now, going forwards, teams are going to be targeting the left-hand side because Husband's playing there. He's not got the pace.
No.
He's not got the physical presence. He's not... How do I word it? I personally think Russ can read the game quite well. I don't think Husband can read the game either.
I think the thing with Husband is look, we've got Pinto at right back, who I will admit isn't the best defensive player, but he makes up for that with his pace, his ability going forwards.
Yep.
He can track a man, and that slight lack of defensive prowess is made up for his other fantastic attributes.
Yep.
Husband, I think he's deluded in a sense that he thinks...
What was the quote he came out with after the game?
I think the thing... Yeah, you find that. The thing with Husband is he thinks he's good going forwards. He's not.
He goes sideways.
He
doesn't go forwards.
He can't cross the ball. He hasn't got the pace to beat... He's not a Mitchell Dykes in terms of he can just run through a wall. He goes sideways. When he does get in a good position, his final ball is crap. And then that means that because he's so far up the bloody pitch, he's so far out of position... And that even if he is in position, he doesn't win a header. He's too weak.
I don't think we're going to get Husband on this podcast anytime soon, Jack.
And I'm glad. Because I don't want to share my olives with him.
Yes, fair play. Open them up. So Husband comes out with, we have to take responsibility as players, as a group of players, he said.
Do not start me with this whole responsibility thing. Have you seen him on that football pitch? He blames everyone else except for himself. Corners, every time he lost his man... He turned around and was going like this, acting like it was not his man. I saw it against Swindon in the Cup.
Bless him.
What is he doing?
The way we played was, dare I say, it okay. Dare I say it okay?
He said we played okay in the second half. James, were you watching this?
James, this isn't even grammatically correct.
No, he said it okay in the interview, so obviously the script writers are copywriters.
Sorry, love you, media team. Look, basically, the headline of it was, that was unacceptable. My response in anger was, you were unacceptable. It was. He was unacceptable. You know what? Another thing that my moan of the week. Okay, let me get it in early. People booing Russell Martin. He was average to poor against Millwall. I completely accept that. Please don't say I'm up Russell Martin's backside, because I'm not. We will say when he's played badly. He played badly against Millwall. But booing your own players on the 38th minute-ish, when every time they get the ball, despite the fact that he didn't cock up, I don't want to go over this whole kind of thing with you, Jack, where you're now going to say to me, yeah, but the fans have the right to boo. They have the right to boo as soon as the whistle is blown for half-time, as soon as the whistle is blown for full-time. But any fan that thinks it's going to help booing your players, I don't care if they... You know what? I don't care if they've played shit. I know you pay your money, but to boo someone that he didn't even do anything wrong for those first two goals, he has become the pantomime villain of this whole defence. And you know what? If you're going to criticise and you know, accuse one player of fucking up the most, it's James Husband. It's not Russell Martin. Seriously, I know Russell Martin's been here for a long time. I know he's a nice guy. I know he's easy pickings, because, let's face it, he's had a lot of performances that have been below par of late, so I can understand that. But come on, guys, don't boo him. Just don't boo him for no reason.
I think even just don't boo an individual player unless they've slagged off Dealey or something. Because
100%.
Look, Russ wasn't great. None of the defence was great. Let's also not forget Marcel Franco was woeful at the weekend.
I don't see anyone booing him.
And that's don't boo. My message to any Norwich fan is don't boo individual players, because no players will go. I wouldn't boo James Husband. I wouldn't boo any Norwich City player any time, at any point in the match, even if they've had a stinker. And I don't mind booing. I think at times it's very much acceptable. At the weekend, I think it was acceptable. So don't start saying that, you're up the club's arse. I'm not. I think booing at stages is right.
Yep,
booing
I agree
as a collective
entirely.
unit, because Farker got it wrong. The players got it wrong. Stuart Webber's got it wrong a little bit, signing players that maybe aren't up to scratch. So we're in this together. Russ Martin cares more than anyone, probably cares more than us about... Actually, won't go that far. He cares. So let's not...
Oh my God, these olives are delicious.
Good, aren't they? They've actually made me quite happy, so thanks for that.
Talking about that smoothie post-Millwall, by the way.
Oh, mate.
By the way, if any Norwich fan is ever suffering with what are we going to call this, Millwall depression? Should we just
Depression.
call it? If anyone is suffering,
No, not depression.
when Norwich have lost a game, we wholeheartedly endorse you buying a cracking smoothie. You honestly just do it. Just take this on board. Buy a smoothie after the game. That's the one, isn't it?
Because I walked out of the den and we had a long walk back. By the way, I think we got the wrong translation.
Oh, another thing. On the matchday experience, someone had a cracking comment, and kudos to whoever it was. I'm sorry I've forgotten your name. You know, there was the Cash Guy.
Yeah, Crash Guy.
And someone commented back saying, Nissan Crash Guy.
Sure that,
Oh dear. Bit of a... you've got to know the matchday experience to know that, but there you go.
I think, as well as the fact that we've just lost 4-0 against the team that finished 6th in League One last season, I was just very low on energy. And I got back to Stratford, had that banana buzz smoothie, and I felt like we were going to win the league again.
Well, it's interesting, Jack, because we have got a few... as you fully expect, you're going to have a few jabs at your "we're going to win the league" comments. So I look forward to you at some stage in this podcast talking about that. Should we go through the rest of the team, or
let's go through my "we're going to win the league" comments now?
All right, then, big man, give us what you've got. So, Jack, what do you think about your comments? We're going to win the league. I love your optimism, by the way.
I got it wrong. I mean, we're only 5 games in, so anything's possible. Cardiff are currently top of the table and they've averaged 40% possession this season, which shows just how mental this league is. But when I said we were going to win the league, I'm a Norwich City fan on a Norwich City fan channel who spends a lot of my incomings on Norwich City games, and the majority of my life is speaking about Norwich City. It's my job, right?
Yep.
So
I'm with you.
If I want to stay mentally sane,
yeah,
I'm going to have to try and self-motivate myself.
Yeah. It's like me with Jacob Murphy, like, he's going to stay. In
the past 2 weeks, I've spent well over 200 quid on watching Norwich City, right?
God.
If I was going to the den, Chris, can't wait to finish 12th in the league this season. Do you really think I would be in any fit state mentally? No. So I'm just telling myself, it's hard to now, but I'm just telling myself we're going to win the league, because that sense of excitement that bubbles inside of my stomach, the thought of Daniel Farker going through Norwich City Centre on an open-top bus with the Sky Bet Championship
with his hair in the wind.
In his head, makes me get up in the morning.
Yeah.
And the thought of us finishing 12th in the table does not make me get up in the morning.
I've got to come in. Let's talk about Daniel Farker's dress code.
Unbelievable.
No. Unbelievably cool, yes. But he must have been sweating an absolute bomb.
And you know the
thing...
At
Millwall, he was wearing a coat, a jacket,
You know them trousers, they look incredibly smart.
Yeah.
They're tracksuit bottoms.
Interesting.
So he wears the smart Parker.
I'm sure Slaters have got something to say about that.
With tracksuit bottoms.
Interesting.
He's just a continental man who can pull anything off.
Just loves it, doesn't he?
You know what I think we're going to see in the winter?
Go for it.
A shiny puffer jacket.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, like a Wenger?
No, like a kind of a quite a slim fit puffer. But it's got kind of that
like
Italian
what, like a Jack Reeve orange number, or...
Yeah, but black. I think he might pull one of them off, although I love his Parker.
Anyway.
So yeah, coming back to this, we're going to win the league comment. Look, if I was going on like...
I've got another question for you.
TalkSport, and I was having to speak... what's the word?
Honestly,
and without bias, then of course I wouldn't say we're going to win the league.
But we are a biased fan channel. We're not here to be neutral. That needs to be made clear.
Exactly. We are 100% biased towards Norwich City.
Yeah.
And look, I don't think we're going to win the league.
I'm going to add on, Jack. So we had a
dreamer.
We had a comment over the weekend.
Right.
through someone on the Club Canary.
Okay.
There's a bit Chinese whispers, but basically someone saw us filming and said, I can't believe Jack Reeve. I can't believe TalkNorwichCity. They're an embarrassment to this club.
Right.
What on earth is he doing saying that we're going to win the league? Yeah?
What was I doing? What was I doing? Whoever
So what, I don't know, what is your kind of response to that?
Well, if you don't dream, then what's the point in living? Like,
mate, are you alright?
No, you know.
Are you ready to do this podcast?
Stuart Webber, right? Stuart Webber at the Fan
that
Forum
quote down.
said, if you're gonna dawdle, either don't get out of bed or die. And I fully get behind that. I'm not here to dawdle. I don't want to finish. I don't want to think we're going to finish mid-table in the championship because that fills me with dread. What doesn't fill me with dread is the fact we're going to win the league. Do I genuinely think we're going to win the league? No, probably not. I haven't gone mentally just yet, but I like to think we are. And look, mate, we're 5 games in. Nothing's changed from the start of the season when everyone was optimistic.
Go on, Jack.
Let's just bloody get behind the boys.
Go on, Jack.
And let's just embrace this journey.
Go on, Jack. Over?
Not just yet.
This
is therapy. This is therapy.
It is, again.
Where do you think we're going to finish in the league?
I honestly think we are going to scrape the playoffs. I do think we'll scrape it now. I did say initially that we would be in the playoffs, so if anyone wants to quote me on that, then I've stuck by my guns. But I do think now we will scrape it. I think there's going to be with the championship, Jack. It's so important that you collate a run of games where it's consistent and you win a few in a row. I can't see this Norwich City team as it is now managing to get a run of wins. I just can't see it. I think we'll win, lose, draw. I do think we'll win most of our games at home, but I can't see us getting a lot of points.
Let's look at this in a very long-term sense. Let's not forget, right? Are Ipswich still second? I think they're probably up there. Them? Ipswich and Cardiff, right? They're at the top. Their possession is terrible. Ipswich, before a couple of weeks ago, had 12 shots and scored 10 goals. That is not sustainable. Yeah. Let's also look. We are not the only team struggling in this league. Sunderland have struggled hugely since they've played us. Derby is struggling hugely, and they've sold their best players. We are not the only team in this league that are struggling.
True.
And we are.
That's a good point.
Look, there's other teams who are struggling, right?
Yeah.
And let's look at this. There's still a few days left in the transfer window. We've just put a bid in for Adam Flint, who we're going to get onto in a bit. Our attacking line, if we keep Nelson Oliveira, is probably one of the best in the league.
Yeah.
Yes, we've conceded a shit ton of goals and we look fucking awful at times. But let's not write this season off just yet. Let's not write it off.
Agreed. There you go.
Mate, this is great therapy.
Do you feel like you're...
I'm getting it out of my system now.
Yeah, I feel like you're more angry than me. Like, I honestly, Jack, on the matchday experience, I was like, Jack, I think we should get a bit of, matchday experience walking out the ground, He was like, mate, I just can't at the moment. I just can't. I've never really I've never witnessed you like that. Like you felt, it was almost like,
I felt embarrassed.
Yeah, you'd done something wrong.
I felt embarrassed because, like you said earlier, like when you usually watch Norwich City, there's usually something at the end of the game where you can be like,
I'm proud of that.
That was
my boy, yeah.
I just looked at that team, I was like, this is just awful. And I'm looking at this in a long-term sense. I don't think this season is going to be that bad. I don't know how to say it anywhere else. We are in a rut at the moment, and it's incredibly tough to get out of a rut in anything. If you have a bad day, it's hard to look at the next week and go, it's going to be a great week.
But not as bad as the rut under Alex Neil. Yeah,
let's not forget as well.
Bit of comparison there to kind of calm the therapy. Should we look at some positives or move on to something different, Jack?
Okay, Bristol City defender.
Interesting
highly
one.
rated championship defender.
Yeah.
Lots of respectable sources reporting that we put a £3.5 million bid in for him. Centre back, very tall, championship experience. Bristol City doing well this season. I mean, if we get him is another sense, but you happy with the initial bid?
I don't think we'll get him, because I think Bristol City are getting absolutely slated for being a club that sells loads of their players. I think it'll be very hard for us to attract a player to the club this late on. If I was Adam Flint, I'd be looking at us and saying, this is interesting.
Do you not think he'd want the move though?
Don't get me wrong. I think, and I'm sorry, but the Norwich are a bigger club, 100%. So I would want the move, but I would be looking at it and thinking, hang on a minute, why have these guys not bid for me at the start of the summer? What's that all about?
Do you think it's because...
Is something going wrong? That's what I would read into it. I think that I think that it's great that we're going in for this player. I do, if we are, because it makes sense because he's an experienced Championship defender. But to me, although it sounds a bit weird, I just think that the only spot that desperately needs improving is left back. I think the centre back. I do think Frank and Zimmerman will create a good, solid centre back partnership this season.
Let's look at this though. When we first brought Zimmerman in, on a free from the 4th division of Germany,
by the way, like.
I don't think any of us thought he was going to be a first team player. I think people thought he was maybe a rotation player off the bench. So let's disregard Zimmerman for a little while, and let's also disregard Franke, because on the whole, he hasn't been that great. He's been okay, but he hasn't been that great. Tim Close comes back in, and I love Tim Close. I think he's going to bring...
I know you do.
I think he's going to help things out big time. Saying that though, physically, he had a bit of a shocker last season, so let's hope that's improved. And that might take time as well. So if Close does come back in the team, doesn't win a header...
Hang on, what do you mean it might take time? Timmy's had his time. Timmy's had his... No. No. Tim Close knows this league now. Don't give me that bullshit. Don't give me that bullshit. I'm being completely dead straight with you, Jack.
He's had like 8 weeks off.
Mate, he is a Championship defender now. He knows what the league's about. He knows what he needs physically to do it. He's up. He's going to be more up for it than ever before. If Tim Close comes in and cocks up, I have absolutely no sympathy for him. He should be ready. Mate, he should be ready. Don't give me that. How much money did we spend on him?
Quite a lot.
In the Premier League. Don't give me that. Anyone, honestly, I want, you know what? I quite fancy having a bit of Timmy Close in our team now.
Mate,
because we look horrendous. We do look horrendous, as we all know. God, I'm going delirious. But you get my point. Tim Close, if he comes in, should be able to hit the ground running. 100%.
Anyway, let's get back to Adam Flynn. And this is the thing that I'm just thinking about, right? Let's look long term. Long term thinking.
Medium term or long term?
Long term.
Okay.
I'm looking end of the season term. Pinto.
That's medium term.
Is it?
Yeah, that's not long term.
This is very much long term in the current situation.
I think long term is like 2 or 3 seasons. But anyway...
I can't think that far ahead.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Pinto at right back. If we bring Adam Flint in, I'm very much jumping to conclusion here. Adam Flint next to Tim Close.
Yeah.
And let's say, I don't know, if we maybe bring in a left back or Stiepermann at left back, that is a good defence. In front of him, Harrison Reed and Alex Tete. In front of him, Maddison, Houlihan, Pritchard, Oliveira. Mate, that is a top draw Championship side. We are getting far too caught up in the fact that we've lost 3 games so far in the league, mainly due to a completely inept defence that can be changed and that will be worked on under Daniel Farke.
Do you think there's been too many changes to the defence, Jack? Is that
possibly?
Is that why, do you think?
Husband's not good enough. That's a change. We need another left back. He's not good enough. Franke and Zimmerman have come in playing a European style of football. 4th division in Zimmerman's case. Franke is slightly higher, and that isn't an excuse for him. They need to get better though. They need to get better. In the air, Franke looks suspect, and Zimmerman on the ball has looked suspect at times. Pinto knows it. So that's 3/4 of the defence changed from last season. They've got a different goalkeeper behind them to what they have done before. This is going to take time, and it doesn't help when you've got a battering around like Steve Morrison going into you on every single one. They should be defending it, but it's ruthless. It is a ruthless league.
I think you've contradicted yourself massively, but I'll let you say that. But
I don't really know what I'm saying anymore.
But what
did I just say?
I'll say it, and I wasn't really listening. No, I'm joking. I think an interesting revelation this kind of the last few days for me. I've been reading through the Middlesbrough. I know.
What's happened?
I know. It's got dark. It's really interesting. A lot of Middlesbrough fans have tweeted stuff like, "Where's the receipt for Johnny Howson?" Yeah, and things like that. And oh my god, Johnny Howson is absolutely awful. Johnny Howson's shite. Blah 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 blah. And I've also seen a lot of Middlesbrough tweets where they've been saying, "Can't believe, I can totally understand why Norwich fans hate Husband." Blah 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 blah. But I guess what I'm illustrating with that point is I'm illustrating that we are not the only people that feel like we're struggling with new signings at the moment.
And
it's not just us.
And I guess that shows that it takes time for players to bed in, because
Yeah.
Johnny Howson was our best player last season. I think, right? Maybe so. He was up there.
Okay.
In terms of
I'm delighted you've said that.
In terms of the last 5 years, he was probably our best player.
I'm even more delighted you've said that.
The fact that he's gone to Middlesbrough and fans aren't excited about him shows to me that something's not quite right there, because we know Johnny Howson's a top draw player. Mm-hmm. James Husband, on the other hand, the Middlesbrough fans are like, right, we kind of
his
know
third choice,
he's a bit shit. So I'm still not excited about Husband.
God, you know what, Jack? I really don't think James Husband's going to be up for coming on this podcast.
Why? Imagine if he did come on.
I honestly think it would just be a fight. I think it'd be Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather.
The thing is with Husband, though, is he seems like a really nice guy.
No.
Why?
No.
How do you know he's not a nice guy? You know what? And the thing I find really sad about this is I think his family are in the away section every time.
Really?
Because he always goes like that and blows a kiss to someone every time.
I hope they weren't in front of us against Millwall, because...
This is the thing. I really want these Norwich City players to do well, but I just look at players like Husband, I'm like, you're not a championship footballer.
Right, we need to stop talking about Husband. Let's talk about Alex Tete, Jack. Here's a frustrating thing with Alex Tete. All of the people that said Alex Tete was shit last season are now saying Alex Tete is God's gift. I love Alex Tete.
You know what?
Alex Tete's the new Iniesta. Alex Tete's the saviour. Alex Tete this.
You know why?
That's unbelievable.
It's because we're looking for an option. We're looking for change and anything. Tim Close, he's probably going to come back in and do crap. But because he's there, he's not playing. We're like, when Tim Close gets back, we're winning the league. We're just looking for these options. We're looking for these changes. That being said, I think Tete could have done a job on Saturday. I think Farke got it wrong not playing him.
I must admit, Tete came on and he did do very well.
That midfield, will you agree with me? It's not good enough, is it? It's not going to win football matches. That midfield.
I think from now on in, it's really important that we add some solidarity to it. Solidarity. Sorry.
Yeah, solidity.
It's important that we shore it up in midfield, because at the moment we're absolutely all over the shop. Everyone's a floater. You can only have realistically 2 floaters in your starting 11. If you have any more than 2 floaters, it's always a worry if you have more than 2 floaters.
And I think you look back to the one game where we did genuinely look impressive at times, QPR, and that was because Mario Vrancic was just on it that night, and he hasn't had a game since then, or before that game, where he has been on it. And you look at the midfield as well. At the start of the season, when we played, what was our first game? Fulham. Mm-hmm. Maybe when I first saw the team sheet with both Maddison and Houlihan in there, not even really in a central attacking midfield role, more of a midfield role, I did look at that and go, that's brave.
Really?
Because...
As long as you cover them behind...
Yeah, but you could get away with it at home against teams that are going to let you have the ball.
Yeah.
But you are not going to get away with that away from home, and especially against teams like Millwall. We got away with it. I'm not sure if they both played Fulham, but because both teams wanted to have the ball, you could kind of get away with it. Sunderland have done us with it. Millwall have undone us with it.
It surprises me that Nelson Oliveira got absolutely jack shit service at the weekend.
Because we didn't have the ball. Well, we did have the ball, but not in dangerous positions.
But it just shows how much of a bad day we had, because we had Wes Madison in there.
But the fact of the matter is, we had like 75% possession, but I would love to see how much of that was in our own half. Because we passed it from side to side. Millwall just sat back, and didn't push high. Gregory and Morrison were happy to sit off. They didn't want to waste their AG. We're not going to score goals from our own half. And then we couldn't find that killer pass, because no one was really on their game, and I don't think the midfield was strong enough to allow Nelson to get forwards.
So what we've concluded here is, going forwards after the international break, it's important that we have an Alex Tete and Harrison Reed in front of the defenders to protect them. Have we decided that?
So, and I would probably drop Mario Vrancic out for the next game.
I would agree with that. I think that Mario looked like he had some promising moments against QPR, but apart from that, I think he just needs to bed in for a bit.
And I think the interesting thing with Mario is in pre-season, I watched a lot of the pre-season games, especially in Germany.
Yeah.
And he looked excellent, like really, really good. But you look at the teams we faced out in Germany, Arminia Bielefeld, second tier in German football, very, very good on the ball, like a very technically gifted team. I doubt there's many teams in the Championship better than them on the ball. But that's all they had. They had it on the floor. They didn't play it long. They were quick and moving it on. Vrancic was used to that football. He played at the bottom level of the Bundesliga and they got relegated. He's not used to these teams, and that is something we also have to kind of get on board with. Is it's all well and good scouting in Germany and Europe, and I love that, and I love we go for these left field approaches. But at the same time, it's going to take time for these players to bed in. But it comes back to the question: how long do you give them to bed in? Because we can't keep losing football matches.
We can't keep losing football matches in the manner that we're losing football matches.
And I guess that's a very good point, because you look back at Huddersfield last season, I don't think they won a game in their first 6.
Yeah, Fulham had a shocker as well, didn't they?
You look at Fulham last season, I think in their first, was it 11 games, they had like 16 points or something like that. So like not a great start, it was probably even worse than that. But they were developing a system, they were developing an identity.
And so are we.
I don't think we have at times, because we're looking to play the ball on the floor, but
are we?
I don't think we are at times. I don't think we are. So we need, you have to commit to a route, and I think we've committed to it off the pitch in terms of the way we've scouted and stuff. But I'm still looking for that identity, and I want to see that identity progress, because at the moment I don't know the style of football we're wanting to play. I don't know how we're looking to defend. I don't know how we're looking to attack. I want to see that from Daniel Farke and the players.
I think a really interesting comment from Michael Manson's post-match interview, which, by the way, beautifully titled "Fucking Carnage," summarises it perfectly.
Yeah, he was not an happy boy.
Mike said that Daniel Farke doesn't know his best starting 11, and I'd agree with that. I just think it's something that I needed to air, because I think everyone needs to be aware of the fact that, look, this isn't a manager that's been here for more than a season. This isn't a manager that's been here for even just more than a pre-season. He's literally had... How many games has Farke had so far?
Or competitive, like 7.
He's had 7 competitive games. So it's kind of in a way, it is an excuse, but it is expected that he doesn't know his best team. Because he has
We're still in the transfer window.
We're still in the transfer window. We're still buying players in. He's probably thinking as well from the top level down, who's going to be sold, which, by the way, there might be some out still. You don't know. So I think for him, it is a balancing act. But I just thought I'd just air that point that it's important that everyone, I think, understands that for the next even 3 or 4 games, I don't think Daniel Farke is going to fully know his best team, in my opinion. It's easy for you as a fan to say, well, it's bloody obvious that Husband shouldn't be in there, because both me and you, and probably a lot of you that are listening and watching this now would say that. It's obvious Husband shouldn't start, but actually, is it? Because there might be something going on behind the scenes that we're not aware of in terms of an out.
Got another left back option.
Exactly. So there's all these things that come into play.
But at the same time, I do want to see some progression in terms of the way we're playing football and the way we're trying to play football.
Yeah.
Because you look at that Norwich team, you don't know how we're trying to play football.
We have had the highest passing accuracy and most possession in the league so far.
Well, the possession bit doesn't surprise me. That passing stat.
Well, I'm just saying. You've said you want to see progress, and if you want to draw positives, that is a positive.
Okay. I'll take that as a positive. Let's get into some questions. We have had a ton of questions.
Thanks for the questions
on Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram.
You know what? I think the questions is now my favourite part of the podcast,
mate. You guys are picking the game up with these.
Yeah.
I like it.
Agreed.
If you don't follow us on Twitter, Talk Norwich City. If you don't follow us on Instagram, Talk Norwich City. If you don't follow us on Snapchat, Talk Norwich City.
Instagram is where it's at, though, over all of those channels.
Links in the description. Go follow our Instagram page.
Exclusive story content. Sold.
Yeah, we're putting tons of stuff up on there at the moment. Let's start with Alex, because I think this is something we've probably avoided so far.
Hang on. You're doing Twitter questions. I'm going to do Instagram questions, then you do Snapchat questions.
Okay, cool. Alex, Nelson Oliveira, staying or going to Wolves or going to Reading?
Ridiculous. Please drop this subject.
Mate, just because you don't want Nelson Oliveira to...
Exactly. No, you know what? I don't give a fuck, Jack. I don't care. Why are we... Who is this?
It's Alex. He's a Liverpool fan.
Why are we even answering the question?
Because it's a
right, Alex. Let me tell you something. Right,
you need a shoulder massage. Release the tension. Right,
that's good.
Just because you don't want Nelson to go doesn't mean he's not leaving.
No,
we have to address this question. This is therapy. We need to address this question.
You know how I feel about this, Jack.
Yeah, but he might leave.
Okay, if he was a Norwich fan, I was about to shout at him, but because he's a Liverpool fan, I'll totally accept him asking this question.
Liverpool fan, Norwich City member with a soft spot for Ajax. So
sounds like a right old glory hunter.
Except for the Norwich City bit, he's like he kind of wants to get a bit of pain and misery in there.
Dear. I think that Nelson. We said after the game. By the way, if I was Nelson, I'd be sniffing around. You would, wouldn't you? I think the club will do absolutely everything to keep Nelson here. He is not the icon as such, but he is like the guy that all of the players. He is like the soul of this team at the moment. He's the only player that I could highlight against Millwall where he looked like. I'm not saying he put everything in, but he looked like he did give a shit.
Yeah.
Whereas I think everyone else didn't really give off that persona, and I think that Nelson does. You know how much I love passion being showed in terms of physicality and tackles. Nelson provides that. Will he go to Wolves? Look, Wolves have had a great start. So in terms of if I was Nelson, I'll be honest, I would be looking at other clubs, but I don't want to talk about it because I don't want Nelson to leave.
I think Nelson. Look, I think it's all started again because Yapstam said that he's kind of the number one target for Reading in their post-match interview. It's all well and good saying it's the number one target. Our number one target, we're probably unrealistic to sign. I don't know who it is, but we're probably not going to be signing him. So the fact that Yapstam has said that probably doesn't progress the transfer any further forwards. If I was Nelson, I'm looking at this in two ways. Do I want to get promoted into the Premier League? Yes. Are my options better at Reading or Wolves? Probably yes. But he won't be more loved at Reading and Wolves than he is here.
Correct.
I think he likes it at Norwich City.
Yeah.
I think he does genuinely enjoy playing for the football club.
I think he respects the fact that we've actually given him a chance. We bought him.
He's a man that wants to be loved. He's a man that wants to be loved.
I think the other thing, the other reason why Nelson will not leave is, why would Nelson...
You said this about Murphy, so be careful.
No, because there's a massive difference. Nelson went out on loan so many times to so many different clubs in different leagues. We've finally given him a chance. Why would he now just be like, oh, fuck it, I'll just go for another club?
I hope that...
No offence to Reading either, but you're tin pot. You're absolutely tin pot. Why would you leave Norwich City for Reading FC? Look, I know you're in the playoffs last season, but that was a joke as well. Don't start me on Reading.
Do I think he will leave? I hope not, and I don't think so.
Good. Next question.
I'm
sorry to
Jack
all Reading
said,
fans.
do you think there's any truth in the Adam Flint transfer, which we've talked about? I think there's truth in the bid. I think it would take more than £3.5 million to get him away. I think he's probably Bristol City's best defender, and they're having a good season. They're in with the shout of playoffs. Would I like Adam Flint? I'd love him here. I think he's a top player. Is it going to happen? I don't know. 50-50.
Okay.
Get an Instagram question in.
Okay, so we've got one here. So I'm having this discussion with a guy called Alex Parfitt. Okay.
Good old boy.
And do you know him?
No.
Okay. He's got long hair.
Yeah, I think I do. I think he's had a few fan cam before. Yeah.
Long Barnet. Long Barnet.
That'd be good.
So he's put in fark out or fark in, and then he put lol joking, and can you tell all the people who are being serious with that question to shut the fuck up? Followed by, I respect you eternally, Chris. So I thought I'd read that out just for you, mate. But it is an interesting one that we've already had people say...
No, I don't think anyone said it seriously. Surely not.
Mate.
Really?
Yeah, I have. I've seen some. I've seen some.
As we've both said, we've committed to this journey now. We've got to buckle in and go for it.
I've just got a statement to read out from Ollie Waghorn.
Ollie.
Games like Millwall disappoint when you know we are capable of pulling off masterpieces. Massive frustration, Ollie. Totally agree with you.
No, I agree. James McKay, who always... actually, I think it's James McKay, isn't it? James McKay? Mate, sorry. He always tweets in, so hello to James. Should Oliveira be criticised as much as Jerome has done after a poor performance after Nelson played poorly against Millwall? Now, before you say this, everyone in that Norwich City team is up for criticism. I didn't think Nelson was that bad on Saturday. I don't think he had any service, and I think the few moments of opportunity he had, he took very well. He nearly bent one in bottom corner, and it was a great save from Archer to deny him from the other one. But if Oliveira plays poorly this season, I will be the first to criticise him.
Yeah, agreed.
I don't think he was bad against Millwall, though.
Didn't get any service.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, James. I know you do loads of questions, but that was a stinker from you.
But the essence of it is there.
Not really. You can't compare. You can't say, is Nelson Oliveira any worse than Cameron Jerome? It's just you can't compare those two players because they've not had the same opportunities.
Okay.
Period.
Okay.
Next question.
Will Burgess, who partners closer in a back 3 or 4? Could Toffolo come in?
You know my thoughts on Toffolo. I'd love to see Toffolo back in this Norwich team. I think he's been here for a few years now as a youth player. Obviously won the FA Youth Cup. I think he's got what it takes, and I think that he's one of these players, like you said, Jack. It's really important that you have players that are affiliated to, I think, the community, the local area. Players that know the club inside out. I think Toffolo's got that, and I think Toffolo would do well here.
I think Toffolo is a top player, but if we're going to criticise James Husband, let's be balanced here.
Okay.
Toffolo was on the bench for Scunthorpe last year.
Okay.
So why does that make him better than James Husband?
Every time I've watched James Husband play... every time I've watched James Husband play, he's been average to poor. Every time I've watched Toffolo play, he's been decent to good. Okay, there's the difference. Now, I know that's at youth level, but I think we need to stop being so kind of, condescending to youth players.
Okay.
It's true, isn't it? Toffolo's... I would much rather Toffolo than Husband. 100%. Okay. 100%.
Charlie Summers, which has got 5 likes on this, so people clearly want this answered.
Okay.
If you could take one player from another championship team, who would it be?
I've always... we get asked this question. It's the same for like who would you want to buy in the transfer window. I've always had a massive soft spot for Britt Sombolonga. I love him. I think he's an absolute beast. And I think in terms of a Cameron Jerome replacement, because by the way, that's what we're going to have to do, either in January or next summer. Probably next summer. I'd love to... Of course, we're not going to get a Sombolonga because he wants the wages and stuff. But
he's at Middlesbrough now, isn't he?
I would absolutely love him here. I really would.
I'm trying to think of a good centre-back in the Championship. Just a good defender. I don't know. A good defender. If you support a club other than Norwich, who's your best defender? Comment below and we'll try and take them.
We'll steal them.
Any good left-backs? Yeah, I'm sure there's loads of good defenders in this league. I just can't think of any. Any questions?
Who cares? With many fans questioning Farke's ability to manage a championship side...
Sorry, I wasn't listening. Say again.
Ollie Reid has gone with many fans questioning Farke's ability to manage a championship side, what do you think will happen, and what do you believe should be his next steps as head coach? Very open, that, isn't it?
What's Farke need to do? He needs to assemble a starting 11 that he's happy with.
Yeah, true. We've already highlighted that.
I don't think that he's happy with every player on the pitch at the moment. He needs to assert his identity a bit more.
I've just seen a howler of a question. Continue.
I don't think he needs to change that much. I think Farke's Farke.
You think the players need to change more than the manager?
Let's also look at the... I've criticised Farke for his team selection. The team he put out against Millwall should have still won.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's not Farke's fault.
And Villa.
Probably Villa as well.
Definitely Villa as well. They had their best players out.
My only worry would be at the moment, and the fact that they haven't gone on to win, is because their game plan has been a little bit too intricate in the way they're trying to play football and everything. But I think that will come. I think it's just time. I do genuinely from the bottom of my heart believe in Farke.
Daniel McMaster,
great name,
with 2 R's on Instagram. You've just asked a question which makes my blood boil. So much so that I'm not even going to read it out. I'm going to give it to Jack because I literally cannot handle reading those words.
Oh, Daniel. I know I shouldn't ask this question. That's never a good start when that's being asked. But do you think Alex Neil would have done good with the squad we've got now? Mate, let's not forget Preston are doing all right this season.
Oh my God, are we really wanting Alex Neil back? I cannot believe people. You know what? It's not just Daniel. Like Daniel, I love the fact you've asked this question, but fans genuinely think that Alex Neil. They will say that. They'll be like, I caught. You know what, mate? Alex Neil, he's kept more clean sheets than anyone. We should do with him. Well, it'd be better with Alex Neil. It's like the guy with Delia takes the top layer off. It's such a stupid thing to say. I mean, let's move forwards. No disrespect, Daniel. Thanks for asking the question, but Alex Neil is history. When he was here, as supporters, I think it was something crazy in the Pinken opinion poll. 80 or 90% of fans wanted Alex Neil out at any given time. I think it was, I can't remember when it was. But that is such a large majority of fans. Would Alex Neil do well with this team now? No. You heard what Russ Martin said on the podcast. He wasn't good at man management. And, his style, his approach with young players wasn't positive enough. You can't lead.
Let's not forget as well, Alex Neil wouldn't have had this team because it was so backward in the way that we were signing players.
And also you wouldn't be able to attract players to the club with Alex Neil in charge. I'm sorry, you wouldn't. But anyway, thanks for the question, Daniel. Have you got a question, mate?
Yeah, I've got a question.
Go on then.
From Jake. Is Oliveira good enough for a Premier League club as Brighton are desperate to sign another 2 strikers? Not suggesting it's going to happen, but just interested. Jake, it's good to be interested.
Is this guy a Brighton fan?
He is.
Ha 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 ha.
Mate, I do feel for Brighton fans in the Prem.
Are you being... No. I don't feel for them. Stuffed a lot of them.
Oh, really?
Mate, they are so arrogant, blasé. They do not understand. They think that Chris Hughton is the Messiah. They think that Chris Hughton is going to make them survive in the Premier League. They will come rock bottom of the Premier League. You guys will get stuffed every week. You guys are the reason why I'm going to win my fantasy football tournament. Do you know why? Because every single time a club that's got quite frankly, when any club plays you, I will captain the striker that's up against your defence. Because guess what? You're shite. Brighton, you're going down. Are you going to have Nelson Oliveira? No. Would he be good in your team? Yeah, he would. He'd be absolutely class. He'd tear it up in the Premier League. And guess what? See Alex Pritchard? He's ours.
Mate, why do you hate Brighton so much?
I'm not answering that question. I think everyone that's been watching TNC consistently knows why Brighton fans do not deserve my respect.
Chris Hughton, he's going to struggle.
He's Tim Pot. He's absolutely Tim. But it's all right because he's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy, to be fair. That's not a great question. Now this is a great question. Katie Lee asked, if you could bring back either an informed Grant Holt or an informed Darren Huckabee to play for us this season, who'd you pick?
Grant Holt.
I'd go Holty. I think we need a leader. And Holty brings that.
Yeah, you need a leader. Hucks was absolutely class in his time here. And at the time, we were on our arse in terms of, Worthington didn't really have it. But let's not forget as well, Huckabee came with Peter Crouch, so there was a bit of a buzz about the place. And by the way, never forget Peter Crouch.
I love Peter Crouch.
Peter Crouch used his hair. He used to spike up his hair. He used to go for that hairstyle where he had the spike at the back, flat at the front, and his hair was touching the ceiling in the players' lounge.
Was it?
Yeah, it was pretty weird. Anyway, Holty all day long, but Holty over anyone, quite frankly.
Yeah, he just brought that aura about the place to me.
Yeah, agreed.
Just brought that.
Hucks is a top man, though.
That loveliness. Charlie Sop, you're basing everything on Huddersfield. They finished bottom half before kicking on. It takes time. Look how long it's taken us. Leeds. Mate, agree. Agree. I think there was a massive buzz about Huddersfield, wasn't there? And rightly so. But that was they started poorly, and what? Let's not forget Huddersfield. Huddersfield got battered a lot last season, like 5-0. They had a minus goal difference, so everything wasn't plain sailing for them. So it will take time. It will take time.
Yep.
And I think we know that. I just if it continues in the fashion against Millwall, I'm not going to last long.
Yeah. That's so many.
Yeah, tons of questions. I'm just trying to pick the best ones and the ones that don't overlap.
Any good ones?
Which of our new signings has impressed you the most? And which signings disappointed you the most?
I think everyone knows who's disappointed me and Jack the most. Husband. But in terms of who's impressed us the most, it's a tough one. That's a tough one. It's hard. What do you think?
I think Harrison Reed. I mean, he's only on loan, but when we first signed him, I looked at him, I was like, he's not going to cut it in this league.
What?
I just didn't think...
What? He's a Premier League midfielder, mate.
Yeah, but I just didn't think he'd do it. I don't know why. I just looked at him and he surprised me the most. And I think he's a very, very good player.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he is really good.
He's awesome.
I'm really happy.
Who's impressed me the most? It's kind of, in a way, not a new signing, which is a cop-out of answering the question, but I think Maddison has been spectacular.
Has he?
Yeah, he has.
No, not really any goals, not many assists.
What? Have you... Mate...
Well, he hasn't.
He has, mate. He's got loads of assists.
Well,
get his stats up.
Well, we haven't won games.
That's irrelevant. That comment is
he hasn't scored a league goal, Chris. Why is he being incredible compared to... No, I'm just saying.
You know how much I love Maddison. I think Maddison's been great.
He has been really good, but why is he being incredible? He hasn't changed games.
All right. Spectacular was a bit too far. But he's been good.
Okay.
I don't think you can judge it.
No, he has been really
I don't think you can judge any new players just yet, to be honest. Because I personally think that Zim has impressed me the most, despite the fact he's had a couple of...
Howls.
He has had a couple of... But no, only mistakes.
That Gum's got him out of.
Yeah, exactly. So, there you go. Next question.
Tom Feard, would an extended stint in the Championship, 3-4 seasons, help us in the long run, maybe to build a more stable structure and base to build on?
Yeah, it's always the same, but on the contrary to that, you want to make sure that your club's, in the best league in the world. Like, that's, everyone wants to play in the Premier League against the best teams.
Tom, I would agree slightly. I think that the issue, maybe not as much last season, but this season, if we don't go up this year, finances take a serious hit, and I think that's a lot of people have been saying, well, we've made this X amount of profit and stuff and the parachute payments, where has it all gone? Well, most of it was wasted on shit players last year, and the rest of it
Sorry. Shit players last year?
Basong wages, Laffy wages.
Oh, wages, okay.
Stuff like that.
I thought you were about to concede on something there, Jack.
What's that? Naismith wages.
Good, well done.
He's not crap, but if we don't, I think we're also trying to be a bit conservative going forwards, because if we were to buy an Assombalonga and
it's a massive gamble in this league.
It's a huge gamble, and the longer we're in the Championship, the further behind we are the likes of, I don't know, Huddersfield in the Prem, or
but traditionally,
Stoke in the Prem.
Norwich City have always been a club that hasn't had a lot of money. So, to be honest with you, would I be all right with us being in this league for 2 or 3 seasons? I'd be all right about it, yeah. And I do think it brings stability. But at the same time, as Jack says, we're a club that hasn't really ever had a lot of money, and now we've got more money than we've ever had before. I know that we are a bit tied to this season, but we have got to do it this season, really.
It's good.
It's an opportunity.
Way,
do you mean we've already been put on a platform to go for it?
Put it this way: if we don't do it this season, which I don't think we will.
Would you like the last olive?
No, you can, mate.
Thank you.
It makes it even tougher next season, and the likes of Pritchard, the likes of Maddison,
they're off.
The likes of Nelson probably won't be here.
Angus won't be here,
and that makes it incredibly tough. Incredibly tough. So that's that. There's tons more questions, but I'm so sorry we can't answer them all. Next week, we are going to be doing another one, and there's going to be an international break, so we'll try and get some of the questions on next week.
No doubt we'll be talking about Wesley Hoolahan and his magnificent performance for Ireland.
Hopefully.
Chris, of course we will.
Nice session. I feel rejuvenated.
I think, yeah, it's been good, isn't it? I hope that Norwich City fans come back after the international break refreshed and ready to sing again. I think there's been a fantastic initiative by the Barclay End, project and Along Come Norwich to try and, get the atmosphere going for the home games. I think so far, having been to a couple of away games myself, I think the atmosphere has been awful. So one of the things that I really want after the international break, I want to encourage Norwich City fans to create an atmosphere and sing even if we go 1 or 2-0 behind, because we're going to have to pick up these players this season.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That's my last statement.
Yeah, stick behind the boys. Look, it's a journey that's going to be interesting, and that's all I can guarantee, that there's going to be ups and downs. I can't guarantee anything else.
But we'll be broadcasting that journey live on Talk Norwich City.
So subscribe on both iTunes and YouTube. Thank you so much for your recent support, and we will see you next week for another podcast.